Okay, welcome back to turn 6 of Blood on the Snow. We might actually inflict some damage on the Americans this turn, if we're lucky. So, we have these spots up here, these two strikers. And we are... let's just zoom in and show it. The BTRs can't actually see them. But they are going to be putting a bit of fire out in the general direction of... I've been trying to get the target lines to intersect. And of course these guys are... well, they were suppressed at the start of the last turn. Or the end of the last turn, so they're probably... yeah, look, they're just carrying away down there. Which is fair enough, because they're being machine gunned. Three things are going to happen. The first one, the good course of action, is that the BTR or the BTRs spot the strikers, engage and destroy them. The second possible course of action is that the strikers spot the BTRs and destroy them. And the third one, and I think probably the most likely, is that the strikers, the BTRs fire off the cannon at the targets and it doesn't do anything to them. And then the strikers destroy them. There's another outlying possibility, which would be the worst possible outcome, which is that the strikers move, the BTRs spot them, but fire at the targets there, or carry out their target orders, shoot at nothing, instead of engaging the striker. And then the strikers kill them. That is absolutely... would be in keeping with my luck. Let's try and get there, yeah. Camera over there. I've also got a platoon, I think I remember, moving up this way because I want to reinforce this area here. And we might be seeing just about some mortars might start landing here. That might be next turn, I'm not sure. But yeah, let's press go and watch it all fall apart. Yep. Well, we just hit that striker up. And we might have gotten some casualties on the infantry there as well. That's excellent. But we're up there in best case there a little bit. That striker is still there though. It's not shooting at anything, so it might just be reloading. Yep, there we go. It was reloading, it's now destroyed the BTR. Oop, that was a mortar shell going up. But yeah, that is a dead striker down there. Knocked out. That will do. Cool, let's go take a look at that. This whole engagement. So let's try and break it down a little bit. So the first one, the strikers moved forward a little bit, and he's disembarking infantry. Yeah, the strikers moved forward and been spotted by this BTR. This BTR is firing airburst rounds at this, what I presume is a scout team. And it's definitely killed the one that we can see. This BTR has started airbursting, like it's been told to. At the exact place, because the striker came forward, the exact place where the infantry are getting out. That's amazing. We'll have a look at these guys in a bit. They are falling back. Interesting. So the striker has spotted this BTR and is opening up on it with the Mark 19. The Mark 19 isn't a tremendously accurate weapon, and it has quite a slow travel time. So I can't remember if it gets any hits in. But that has allowed... yeah, see, the BTR has prioritized the threat of the striker over shooting up this piece of ground, which is excellent. It's swapped to... has it? Does it swap to armor piercing? No. Yes, yes it did. Look, there we go. But you can see, what's interesting is that after it's shut it up, and it is knocked out, the driver's gotten out, but not the gunner by the looks of it. Oh wait, no, that hatch is open. Yeah, both hatches open. But that is a knocked out striker. Excellent. We just gotten in there under the era blocks because it's perched on the top of the hill like that. That's excellent. So we are capable of handing it back. Which is good to know. And then just the added bonus, I think the other member of this scout team? No, there's more than one person because the icon isn't directly on top of him. It's got to be the same team as these guys. These get spotted by the infantry way back here. Who... He's a good target as it looks because he's skylining. Because he's silhouetted. But that doesn't have any impact in the game at all. And then we have our PK gunner. It is a PK. Oh, PKP. Who is cunningly hiding his weapon in a bush. It gives him a burst in the back of his way. Pretty clinical, that. I was expecting a bit more spam. And then it's finished. Then that BTR's finished off its target order to boot. Excellent. We'll have that was a clink off to the left there. We'll have a look at that in a second. But that's, yeah. We may have in fact just equalised because, well, yeah, I lost a BTR with a whole squad in it over there on turn 2. That was potentially a striker and a whole squad. Because they may well, it's hard to tell, but they may well have been taking casualties from the front, from the fire going in. But definitely that stroke of luck there with that BTR pumping air bursting high explosive directly over the ramp. As that's coming down. I mean, you know, that is not a happy place to be. Any of the infantry, not only the infantry coming out, but once they're out, yeah. So that pretty much worked out perfectly. But in the process, obviously that striker has spotted the BTR. And then we got the crewman has come out, has popped out, the gunner's popped out because he needs to reload the belt. That's what he's doing there. I think someone takes a pot shot at him. No? Yes. A very late pot shot from that RPG team. I'll press go. Yeah. And then nothing's happening. I'm sure this is going to acquire... Okay, so he's probably just shooting at the infantry there. And yep, there we go. Oh no! That's another one. This one joins in, but something else. Something else has started shooting up the BTR as well. Is it the Humvee? 50 cal Humvee. Right up in front. These guys might not be able to see it. I mean, not impossible that there's another striker up there that we just don't have a spot for, but it feels more likely. That it's not. Unless it's just coincidental damage. I mean, these guys, they lost a guy there. And the BTR is going to panic, but... Oh, and now they're dismounting. Good job, guys. But I'm not sure that if they actually... I'm not sure the Americans actually saw the BTR there. That could well be just incidental damage. And these are only partial penetrations. Maybe it's a Humvee with like an M240. That's got to be proof about against M240 from the front. So the way this works, this is like a broad overview of the armor. So obviously it's not proof against shaped charge warheads or large caliber shells or heavy machine gun fire. And it's not actually even proof against all small arms fire, especially not from the front. Well, especially not the sides and rear, but on the front, yeah, it might be 240 fire. So we're only getting partial pens. And it's definitely directed at him. And then when we look, all the hits are hitting the wheel, and so they might have just bailed out unnecessarily. Let's see if we can get them back in. Interesting. But yeah, I think we can chalk that up as a successful engagement up here, that turn. You know, that'll do. Lucky, but successful. Let's just check and see what we get elsewhere. Yeah, I forgot about these guys. These guys pop back up again. They're running away. Anybody decide to shoot them? No. Okay. Obviously not, but we know they're out there. We can still see that armoured knight for the whole turn. So we've got a pretty solid location on that. There is an AT-13 team moving up there, and might be able to get a shot off at it. Interestingly, we haven't seen any more mortar rounds. Like, there's this one that landed just here, and it had to be a mortar round. It had to be, but there's nothing else. So it's just like one spotting round, and then he's changed his mind. So I don't know. And the other thing that we're noticing here is this striker spot. Who can spot that? Is that a sound contact? Is that... Who's seeing that? These guys. Excellent. That's moving around there. So that's another little shred of evidence to say one platoon here, one platoon here. And then perhaps one platoon in reserve, and then a smattering of Humvees for recce and covering the flanks and stuff. Let's just have a think about... I don't think anything else really happens, but let's have a think about some of these positions that we're seeing Humvee markers in, or Humvee striker markers. We've got one there, which must be wrong, because there's no gaps in the fence that are big enough for a striker to get through. So that's got to mean something on this line. Or in fact, probably more likely in this field, because I know it went in there, unless that got destroyed by when we were firing the HE in there, but whatever. And here, so these are all clearly set up to defend this point. This one here. Yeah, he can cover off this way. He's got the building in between him and the enemy, and he can cover off that way and up here. And then this might not be staying here, but it's not like an overtly bad position for it. Sat there on the reverse slope. So that's interesting. We've had some of the recce guys pushed up. No one's shooting at him. So it could be that JTMO's gone for he's punched into here and grabbed at this, and then he might be, he's going to probe up here, which means yeah. We'll see how this kind of pans out. So, what do we want to do then? These guys are coming up on the flank still up here, and it's going to be worth keeping them going up there just in case he makes a move on this flank. All sorted, that's sorted. Yeah, do I want to move any of these? That's a tough one. Unfortunately, they can't do anything with the BTR crew. These guys are not in a sustainable position, so let's bring them back. The BTR isn't out of action or anything. It's not even particularly damaged. The crew just don't want to be in it anymore, so we'll see if we can recrew that later. Try and bring some of the recce teams forward. Then, oh hell, these guys have got... They've got backup from the BTR, so see if we can just run them across. And essentially just see if they get shot at. Up here these guys are reasonably close. You can't see anything, can you? These guys are pretty close to their BTR, so if you get RT over there, that'll go off. And we got some more mortars. Or all the mortars are online. Those ones are firing. How long are they going to be firing for? The rest of the game. That's good enough. Yeah, so we'll kind of stabilize it, but the ball's in JTMO's park over here. I'm not really in a position to push it as of right now. And I might do some back of the envelope like calculations on what he's brought with him. Which if I do those, I'll share them with you so you can see what I'm thinking. But yeah, that was best turn so far. Let's see what we get in the next one.